Welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody. I will be joined alongside my good friend and co-host Tony Sapita. And today we are hitting on who's the leader of the Chicago Bears, who is the voice of this team, who's the guy that people are going up to for advice, and who is trying to make guys better on and off the field. We're going to share our thoughts today. Make sure that you share yours below in the comments. And also quick shout out to Bruno's Bar and Lounge in Rogers Park, Illinois, right off Sheridan Road. If you go to Loyola, if you've ever been to Loyola, it's definitely a great bar to go to. It was my great uncle's. He passed away earlier this year, so we really miss him, but just wanted to wear this. This was from his memorial, so make sure you go to Bruno's Bar and Lounge. It's a great time. So with that, tune into as always, let's talk about the Bears. And according to today, like you're telling me you're the boss man, so we're going to talk about who the boss man of the Bears are, right?
Yep, sounds good to me. As the head delegator right now at my job, I think it's appropriate that we discuss who should be delegating tasks, just kind of what the Bears should be doing. So, Nick, if you want to kind of lead us into it, explain what we're doing here, we can get started.
Yeah. So do the Bears have a leader? Like, I know I kind of opened the episode up with that, but like, do the Bears have a leader? And if not, who should it be? And it's something that's really frustrating me because you don't see, like, it doesn't feel like, because the Bears don't do the captain's thing. Like there's a new captain every week, which I think is so stupid. It's all about everyone being fair on the team. No, you need leaders on the team. So Tony, if you had to pick one leader, if the Bears have a leader, who is it? And if not, who should it be?
I don't think they currently have a true leader, like someone like we've had obviously in the past where, it was Brian Urlacher or whoever it was. Never really, I guess we didn't really have a quarterback that was a true leader for the longest time, if ever, really. But I do think they are trying to rally around Justin Fields. They get that he's the young guy. He's the guy that's supposed to be, the next big thing. But the defense is an absolute mess right now. There's no leadership whatsoever. I'll kind of get into who I think it should be. I do think that Roquan should be the guy, not just for the defense, for the whole team in general. I'll get into why later, but I don't think they have a one true leader right now. And I think that is an issue.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, they don't have one. It's not that they kind of don't, like, they don't, like, Matt Nagy isn't even the leader. There is no one that speaks for the Bears. There is no one, that, no one's yelling at teammates to get better on and off the field. No one's like, running up to, like, for advice from Khalil Mack or Allen Robinson or Jimmy Graham or any. I mean, you hear like the mentorship between Kmet and Graham, like, but that's not seen on the field because no one's going to go up to Cole Kmet, like, especially Khalil Mack's not going to be running up to Cole Kmet. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the quarterback should be the leader, but then the leader of it all is, the head coach, and Matt Nagy is not the leader. When players, walk away from him, they don't run up to him for help. Like Justin Fields has to, or like Matt Nagy literally positions himself on camera to make it look like Justin runs into his arms. But like, no, Justin Fields has even said he likes Bill Lazor more than Matt Nagy in regards to play calling. I don't know if that's hinting at anything, but no one defends him when he's arguing with officials. It's just so stupid that we don't have captains. That just drives me nuts because those are the guys that people will go up to. Those are the guys that are representing the team. Like this upcoming week, I think it's like Cairo Santos, Cole Kmet, and Angelo Blackson. So you have a second string defensive tackle, you have a second string tight end, or first string technically, and then your kicker. Like Robbie Gould was a leader as a kicker, and I love Cairo Santos, no doubt about that. But there's so much talent on this roster, and no one wants to play for Matt Nagy. Like that shows that there's no leader. Like no one wants to play for Khalil Mack. No one wants to play for Robert Quinn. No one wants to play for Akeem Hicks. There's nothing. It's just a lot of talent on a roster, and no one wants to do anything with it. And no one talks about their love for Matt Nagy. Like no one says, I'm happy I play for Matt Nagy. Like you hear people say like, I love Coach Ron Rivera. I love Bill Belichick, even though he's like the most emotional guy in the world, like least emotional guy in the world. Like overall, like it's just genuinely, who has ever said they love Matt Nagy, Tony? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I was trying to think, I was like, oh, they've definitely said it. And then I was thinking back, I think they like him as a man. I think they like him as a human being. But I think the way they look at him, this is the best way I can think of describe it. It's kind of like, your dad or your uncle, they may not be the best at their job. Maybe they got into it, years ago and, there's too much technology. They can't figure it out, but they got like tenure, whatever it is. And, kind of layoffs are coming around and it's like, I love you and I don't want anything bad to happen to you or your family, of course, but you're probably not best for the job. It's kind of one of those, like, I get it. If it, if anything happens to him, gets laid off. So that's kind of how I think they look at him. That's how I'm looking at him too. Again, he's a nice guy, but it's still just the incompetence is overwhelming at this point. You can't keep him around because he's a nice guy. You're so right. There's, I don't know. I haven't.
Nice guys don't win.
I can't think of anyone that said I love Matt Nagy in that sense.
Mitch Trubisky might have said it because he felt like he had to, but like, look at the second he left Chicago, like he's talking smack about the Bears. So, if I had to choose one person, it had to be Khalil Mack, biggest name on the franchise by far. I mean, besides Justin Fields, but like overall the last couple of years since he's come to Chicago, he's the biggest name on the franchise, traded the house for him, the future of the Bears at the time. It just seems like he goes out there, does his job, and then goes home. He's never leading warmups. Like you always see Akeem Hicks or some sort of lineman, like firing everybody up. That should be Khalil Mack. Like the biggest, scariest dude on the team should be the one that's firing up the team. And I love Khalil Mack. Fantastic player. Look over my shoulder. Look over this would be my left shoulder. Okay. Point. Boom. Khalil Mack right there. I love the guy. I think he's I think it was honestly the trade. We won the trade. And he helped turn around the franchise. 2 out of the last 3 years, the Bears have gone to the playoffs. I don't know about this year, but he never goes up to refs and argues with them. He never tries to stand up for his guys. I feel like he has like 1 or 2 times, but he doesn't do it enough. And to clarify again, I love this guy. I just want him to be more vocal. So that's where we stand. So Tony's going with Roquan Smith. I'm going with Khalil Mack. But before we dive into our final topic of the day, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Stupid Car Tray.
Yeah, the holidays are here, and what better gift than the perfect car organizer? Get yours today for 16% off your ordering using code J16 JAY16 at checkout. Link in the description below. And let's kind of jump into maybe why these guys haven't stepped up and maybe how they can moving forward.
Yeah, so while we're talking about Khalil Mack, I'll just kind of lead into it so we don't lose the momentum there. But Khalil Mack does not enjoy playing for Matt Nagy. I'm just putting that out there. You can see it in his body language, and he never talks about him. Like Khalil Mack really doesn't talk in pressers too much. If he does, like he's interviewed, it's quick and easy, which is fine. Like he's a quiet guy. He shows it on the field. But if anything, he should be talking about his head coach or like Sean Desai or someone. Like he talked about Sean Desai more than Matt Nagy this year so far. And he's never standing with Nagy talking to him. He doesn't defend him, again, in press conferences. He doesn't care for Matt Nagy. Like it's blatantly obvious. And it's so sad because Mack is a future Hall of Famer and he's wasting his best years and his best chances with arguably a talented roster in the Chicago Bears, who could, with the right leadership, go to the Super Bowl. That's optimistic, and that's my opinion. And people are going to call me crazy. But Mack needs to be talking more in every press conference. He needs to be going up to officials on a defensive holding call or anything like that. Or he needs to be standing with Matt Nagy talking to him what needs to get better. Like there's so much disconnection that it's uncomfortable to see when you're paying a guy $15 million. And you should be making that guy happy over Matt Nagy, who fans want out of Chicago. So that's just kind of my take. Tony, if you have any comments on it, I know that Roquan Smith and Justin Fields is your 2 guys that you would choose, but like any more comments on Khalil Mack before we get to your subject?
I guess this is it's Khalil Mack related, but whoever the leader should be on, whether it's on defense or whatever it is, I totally agree with you that they need to be the guy that's kind of, working the refs a little. Like you see Aaron Rodgers every time anything, like the refs are pushing him away. Like, please stop talking in our ear. I guarantee that that'll wear down on the ref. The refs are human. They're going to eventually be like, you can incept them into at least like seeing a roughing the passer or a holding, or at least maybe they are not seeing it. And it's like, hey, just watch me next play. I guarantee I'm being held. Boom. Hell, they see it. They got to call it. So I completely agree with you on that. And then, so my guys that should step up, I have Roquan and Fields. I won't get into Fields too much because he's still young. He's the guy we want to step up because he's the quarterback. That's kind of what you want out of a potential franchise quarterback, but he doesn't really have to be the true leader of the team yet, because I think it should be Roquan. He is the best player on the team right now. I think that's fair to say.
Doubt.
He definitely, statistically for sure, and I think he's also the most athletic and the most talented at the moment. He's young, obviously still, but is his 3rd year. So he's been around. He's been around for the Nagy years, and he's been around just in general with this core. So he knows how it works. He should know how it works by now. And as the captain of the defense, he really needs to be holding guys like you were saying, the accountability
of the defense, because we don't have captains.
Yes, the kind of like the Cubs, how they never put a C on Anthony Rizzo's chest, but he was the captain, everyone knew it, kind of thing. He needs to be holding guys like Bilal Nichols accountable for like these penalties.
Yes,
100 guys in the face,
100%,
etc. So yeah, that's kind of what I think about all that. I don't know. I've kind of given up on any sort of leadership coming out of the Bears this year. It's kind of sad.
Pathetic, because there's so much talent on this roster, which drives me crazy. And again, this weekend's a huge weekend because Khalil Mack's expected not to play, to let his foot heal up. We have the 49ers, which is a very winnable game for the Chicago Bears if Matt Nagy has nothing to do with the game and they do find that leadership. It's at home. But Khalil Mack could be on the sideline. He could be yelling. I kind of like how they had Richard Sherman against the Bucks with like a headset. Like
he was coaching. He was
coaching.
I didn't hear what the position.
Coach.
Yeah, it's insane.
and like, if you put Khalil Mack out there, it'd be like, hey, like Travis Gibson, like go, like get after it. And hopefully Robert Quinn's back this week. Robert Quinn also could be a great leader, but he doesn't have he had that bad first taste in Chicago's mouth, like with the bad year last year, even though it wasn't his fault, he was injured. But Khalil Mack has a good opportunity to pull a Richard Sherman and be a coach. And player coaches, they're back. It's not the 1910s anymore. Player coaches are back. Love to see it. So yeah, that's our leaders. So I'm going with Khalil Mack as a guy who should be more vocal for this team, and Tony's going with Roquan Smith. Couldn't agree more, because in all honesty, Matt Nagy he doesn't, even though they're saying he's about to lose the locker room, he's lost it. It's just what it is. Bears fans know it. We know who the Bears are. The Bears are who we thought they were. Go back to I had to throw that out there. So yeah, but Tony, as always, thank you very much for joining. Great conversation. Hopefully Roquan Smith is going up to Bilal Nichols and shoving him to the ground if he makes a stupid mistake this weekend.
I hope so. He should. Someone's got to step up on this team.
Absolutely. So with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, joined alongside my co-host and good friend, Tony Sapito, and we'll see you guys next time.